Well, I think I can understand where that statement is stemming from because obviously a lot of people have been having it's more like we've been having more of a religious um, fight over decades now. In fact, for almost every time we see insecurity happening in the north central, it's as though people always call it to be ethnic or religious here battlefield. But I would like to ask now. He's stating the fact that he's an Islamic person and his wife is a Christian. That should be able to create an example for Nigerians to stay together. But do you think that can actually be achieved by just making that statement, or there are things that need to be put on ground? If really everyone with his own faith can actually work together to make this country better.
Personally, I'm a Christian, and I'm aware that God encourages, not just encourage, is like an injunction that you should live in peace with everybody. Of course, the Bible says that if a man's way pleases God, that God will cause his enemies to be at peace with him. The issue is, I don't know much about the other religion, but I want to believe that from what we hear people say, it preaches peace. So it beats all imagination where you even see some people who are engaged in terrorism. At times, they will tell you that they are from that same religion. You understand that at some point, some people who are in Boko Haram, we are made to understand that it means Western education is sin. And at the same time, you see people leveraging on the same Western education technology from Western education to advance their evil activities. So that is where even some clerics in the northern part of the country, in some areas where the other religion is practiced, have a big task in their hands to educate their children. But I want to tell you guys one silent area we are not looking at.
Which is
the out of school children in the country. Is a major problem that is somehow causing the insecurity we have in this country.
How is that? How is it?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same question.
Very simple. I think I saw on one of the headlines yesterday that says that out of school children in Nigeria is up to 24 million children. And I'm talking about this is a bracket of people between the age of 6 and 16 years. I look at the statistics recently, we discovered that in some states, you have as much as 60-something% out of school children. In some instances, you have up to 50-something, 40-something, 30-something, as the case may be. Now the question is, from a psychological point of view, the child, the newly born child, the brain is seen as a tabula rasa, a clean slate, on which the critical write anything he or she wishes to write. So by the time you refuse to write the norms of the society into the child, this terrorist, Boko Haram, Islam, name it, will help you to write their own value system into the child. And a part of the consequence we face currently. So, as stakeholders, particularly from the north, the issue is that out of school children is higher in the northern part of the country. So, the stakeholders in the north have a responsibility, particularly religious leaders, to ensure that they inculcate the right discipline into the children, the norms of the society into the children, take them out of the school, out of the streets, ensure that they get proper education. And it will not end there. If they do that, they will be, I think that they even build the human capital of the region that will ultimately help them to, of course, add to Nigerian economy. So it is a major problem that people are not giving attention. Well, I think I saw a development where some persons in the north tried to blame federal government for out of school children in the north. But I totally disagree with that position because though under universal basic education, the responsibility of training the Nigerian child lies with the 3 tiers of government. But however, what we want federal government to do is the policy direction and the funding. And this they do for all the 36 states without exception. So we want to show that there is something fundamentally wrong with the northern part of the country. And I think that is the very reason we often see the enemy of Kano, talking about Sanusi, always having a brilliant position with the stakeholders in the north, because this is a man who always canvas for educating the children in the north. So I think it is good to give that area priority attention.
Okay, so education, after school children is one of the major reasons why we have this kind of class.
You see why I'm saying it?
Okay.
Because we have a situation where we have agreed that Christianity, Islam preach peace.
Yeah.
Now, a child who is from the environment where Islam is practiced, the society refused to give that child education, for instance. And now have people are dissidents, terrorists, Boko Haram, Islam, name them. Now come with the child with message of Islam. Maybe doctored. Not the original Islam that preach peace. Since it's already painted with that religion, they buy into it. And somebody will believe that Western education is sin. And it's going about with that theology. So that is why it needs priority attention.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, let's have Comrade. I hope he is with us now. Comrade, if Comrade is with us, can we have it, please? All right, thank you, Comrade Akola, for joining us. Thank you so much. Good afternoon to you, and permit me to say Happy New Month to you because I don't think I've seen you this month. Comrade, can you hear me from the studio?
Yeah, good afternoon. Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon. So I was wishing
I can hear you
New Month
loud
because
again.
I've not seen you in this month, either via Zoom or physically. I haven't seen you. So Happy New Month to you.
I can hear you.
Right, let's
Good
just go
afternoon.
straight to it. Well, we'll
Thank you
discussing
for
about
having
what
me.
President Tinubu said about the religious, difference that we have. His Islam or you're Christian, he believes that everyone should be able to live together. Now, moving on and analyzing what really could be the problem why we'll be having a lot of peace here in the country. Speaking with guests in the studio, Matthew, he noted that another major reason why we have insecurity and why religion will keep clashing against each other is it's another angle is out of school children who are not being educated because from his statement you have Islam projecting peace and you have Christianity projecting peace, but one who is not educated to understand this might go in line with the insecurity with the terrorists, the Boko Haram as you can name it. And invariably, that way, you have a lot of children growing up, and you have a lot of them, into this aspect of everything. Which, by so saying, what the president is saying cannot just be the only reason how we can actually live it. So I want to ask you, what's your own opinion as regards to what the president said? Do you think it's just as he said, he being Islam, his wife being a pastor, is one of the easiest ways to just live together because he and his wife are living together happily? Do you think that's all we need to do to create peace in our country?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I was to react that I don't know why in this country we are too religious than even Jesus Christ himself. And most times you see the issue of religion coming into play. I think the question you have asked is about Mr. President talking about Nigerians to be religious and be prayerful, if I can get you right. Yes. Now, let me just say that the president's appeal for Nigerians to embrace religion is understandable in a time of moral and social challenges. However, the request is, as religion translated into national development, for us as a people, as religion translated into national development, for us as a people, and I don't think the answer is no. Because if prayers alone could build a nation, Nigeria would be among the most developed countries in the world. Religion and morality, not the same as development. You get it right now. So Nigeria is one of the most religious nations on earth, which is mosques and religious gatherings everywhere. Yet, poverty, corruption, and insecurity persist unabated. This shows that religion in form, quote and unquote, is not the same as religion in value. True religion should reflect in honesty, justice, and accountability, not just worship. Worship rituals. I say it as worshiping of rituals, and that is religious practices. Our challenges in Nigeria is not lack of religion, it's lack of righteousness in practices. We pray a lot, but we act less. Development comes from principle, not piety. Less religious countries like Japan, China, or Sweden thrive because they apply moral, seek responsibility, and respect for law. Value religion teaches, but society really practices. Development is built through education, hard work, road, effective governance, and decisive decisions, and not through mere religious identity. Mr. President, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, all should be to embrace values, just religion itself. It should inspire productivity and ethics, not replace sound policies and governance. Religions should not replace sound policies and governance. I understand the president's it's likely what it likely meant. He wants to promote unity, peace, and moral rebirth, which are good goals, for this government. But for citizens, what matters most is good governance, justice, and leadership by example. Leadership by example. When leaders are transparent and fair, citizens naturally live peace with or without religious. We understand. What I want now, we don't need more prayers on the street. We don't need more prayers on the street. We need more integrity in public offices. Acknowledge that religion has its place. It provides hope, moral guidance, and social order, but it must not be a substitute for government responsibility or national planning. So Nigerians should embrace religions that produce this discipline, empathy, and nation-building mindset. Finally, just let me give you this. Finally, Nigerians does not need to be more religious. We need more righteous in practices, fair in leadership, and honest in service. When religion produces good citizens and good leaders, then our prayers will begin to show in roads, schools, hospitals, and in infrastructures. That is what brings about good development of any nation. So religion itself and worship is an emblem of mental enslavement to physical spiritual support. I so submit. Thank you so very much for having me.
Little not further, but so much deep. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Well, I too want to believe that it's not just about religious tolerance. I think it's a whole lot that could allow us accommodate each other as Nigerians, because if we are okay, if we feel like the economy is better, you have some money in your account, and people look out for each other. The education is there, the healthcare system is there, the road infrastructure, everything is at it beats better than this. I think that would even help us be able to bind together, because now there's going to be a big risk if we cannot actually tolerate each other. Not just about the religion, but tolerating each other as Nigerians. But anyways, We're just going to leave it at that. From your out of school, then also the corruption, the insecurity is one of the major reasons why we cannot really tolerate each other. Okay, well, on that, I think I would just like to say to our viewers, you can actually join this program. You can call in, you can send in text messages to the number displayed below your screen TV. And of course, we would like to hear your opinion on these matters that we're discussing on the table. Well, gratitude.
Okay, before we move into the next story, to wrap up this particular story, I have a question, Mr. Matthew. So my question is, how can Nigeria benefit socially and politically from genuine religious tolerance?
I think it is very simple, because if there is that level of tolerance, there will be peace in the society, ultimately. But let me quickly tell you that on the angle of those who have been radicalized, who are already terrorists, for instance, the government have no option, but they need to acquire monopoly or coercive power to smooth them out of their high places, set them running, and bring them to justice. I'm going to tell you that the stories we hear at times is not palatable to hear. Seeing bandits coming from point of strength, negotiating with communities, with local governments, and in some cases with state governments. Because for me, it exposes Nigeria as a weak sovereign state. So what I'm trying to say in that sense, because recently we saw that federal government of Nigeria is making move to acquire about 50 fighter jets. I would say it's a way to go. So what I'm saying is that let the federal government go and acquire monopoly or coercive power, because the president wants to protect us and property. The same thing is applicable to the governors and even the local government chairman. More so, and the constitution have given the president the responsibility to protect lives and property. And if you look at section 14, section 2B of 1999 constitution as amended, it's very clear that the welfare of the people and their security shall be the primary purpose of governance. So you can see that any government that is not able to address that, of course, for me, is a monumental failure. That is where we must encourage governments to make sure that they acquire monopoly or coercive power. And I'm of the opinion that the state governors should be given some level of security power to parade. I'm going to say that good thing, this foreign that initiative of federal government have come to engender that. But let me say I'm a little bit disappointed in the state governments. Well, I was expecting that by now we should see states like Zamfara, Katsina, Benue, even Kwara and Taraba join at that opportunity. But for me, the state governors for a very long time have been complaining about their inability to control the security architecture in their respective states. We understand that, because we understand that the command and control of Nigerian security architecture trickles from Abuja down to the grassroots. But hence, the federal government have come with this initiative as an opportunity to give them that, the governors, that leverage to command the architecture. By extension, I'm encouraging those states that are ravaged currently by this level of occasion by Fulani militias to jump at this with speed of light.
Well said.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So moving on to the next story, we have Sir speaks on activism. So he finally speaks on very data of activism and reactions to this particular story. So let's have the
She already said it all. Some of them we're not going to discuss on the table here. It's just to know about him. But the major thing is, let me just ask this question: what exactly is activism? Because a lot of people, for them to have asked the question to show where you're asking that, do you consider very dark man the same activism as yours? And it was like we cannot compare. Even when they had to, compare him to some other activists who in the past have done amazing work for Nigeria, he said no, he doesn't want to be compared with that. But I just want to ask, what exactly is activism? Because a lot of people, I feel like some people might be getting it wrong, might be getting it right. But for yourself, what do you think activism is actually in the right sense?
To answer your question directly, I think what Shure does is activism.
Okay.
What VDM, Very Dark Man, does is activism in their own respective choosing area of endeavor.
Okay.
And I want to say that we need more, because whether I would like it or not, we have seen Shure stepping in to service on situation. The same thing is applicable to VDM. So the society needs more of such people. I want to tell you that there's even someone that is not as noticed as this from Delta State. One Harrison Gwamishi. He's always on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's doing excellently well.
Yes.
Yeah.
He even go as far as following even police personnel, military personnel who are in the theater of operation, fighting bandits to the bushes, to the forest. We have seen instances where he even stepped in to recover money reportedly extorted from individuals by police. It's even on his Twitter handle. So we need more of that. And what Shoren was saying was, they didn't quote the scripture. He was trying to judge. So avoiding dodging. Because even you understand that even in scripture, Jesus Christ never wanted to judge anyone while on earth. Because there is a time for that. And he said he is not a carburetor. He is not the one that we use to measure whatever happens, whether this is getting right. He said we should allow posterity to actually judge. I think what he's saying is not wrong, but I believe that Shoren himself is doing a very good job, excellent job. The same thing is applicable to BDM in their own respective chosen area of endeavor.
Okay, so comrade, if you're with us, I would like to ask, well, from the people, Nigerians, most people believe that BDM is the voice of the voiceless. So he's more into Nigerians, what's going on. So the rich does not, take over the poor, and the poor does not get sidelined and all of that. But a lot of people say Showara is not into the aspect, it's more into the political angle, the welfare of the citizen, not directly as one-on-one. BDM goes one-on-one, he goes all out, travels to go to that place, but Showara is more like, he's also bringing the leaders, the government, by the book, bringing them to accountability. Let them be accountable and responsible for whatever we are going through at this point. So I would like to ask you, do you actually think both of them are, well, Matthew said they are doing activism, I just want to know your opinion. Do you think that is true activism, what both of them are doing? Or like you said, maybe, like Matthew said, it could be their own way of just being an activist?
Yes, thank you. I just love just the issue of activism, revolutionary and social emancipation. Yeah, you see, it's a different ideology. Ideological differences are there. You cannot compare VDM, level of ideological activism with what Omoyele Sowore is doing. They are two separate lines that cannot meet. But we give it to VDM too. He has done well, and he should continue. We need more of them. Fela, you can be an activist, social reformation. Fela sang so many songs, during his days, change, the military, from their dictatorial, approach to governance. That is activism, in its own context. So VDM is also doing social activism. But Sowore is a man who has been on the barricade of struggles. Check it. He has been on the barricade. There is difference between somebody on the, who goes on the barricade of struggles and somebody who uses social media, because we are in a social media age. In those days, when we are on the barricade of struggles after the annulment of June 12th, because some of us came to the limelight because of our age. Our first struggle, in terms of activism, started after the annulment of June 12th. And then Sowore also was still, a graduate as at then, and the president of the University of Lagos, student government, and so many other comrades, so many unsung heroes of that struggle. Today, they are still physically present. They are still, making sure that the change kind of Nigeria that we want is not yet achieved. And they are not backing out. Irrespective of maybe some other activists, have turned to, they call themselves comrades, but sometimes we call them come and raid. They are now raiding, the grandeur. They are enjoying the grandeur of the democracy that some people sacrifice their life for. In those days, it was Dr. Beck or Ramson Kuti that is called bravest of the brave. But I want to tell you, irrespective of who wants to listen, irrespective of some of our comrades in the leftists or in the right, leanings, to listen today that Shomore is extremely brave presently. He's extremely brave. And let me just tell you, Guevara taught us, he said, the first duty of a revolutionary is to be educated. You cannot fight a revolutionary cause without being educated. You get it now? So it is when you are educated, you will know your position, you will know how to make change. Political change, economical change, and social change. So, Showore, VDM, they are educated people. So, VDM is using its own platform, which is, it is accepted in modern democracy. It is allowed in modern democracy. And all of that is one of the beauty of democracy. You cannot rule that out. And these voices can never be silenced. So, Showore is somebody, like I said, in the barricade of struggle. When you talk of barricade of struggle, he's a commander, he's a field commander when it comes to protest. Never shy away from it. Since 2024, his international passport has been seized by the Federal High Court that has been confiscated in the Federal High Court in Lagos. All effort, for his legal team, to appeal that his passport be released so that he can travel to see his family and come back, from America to Nigeria, has not been full, has not been successful. So what did you expect? You denied me freedom. And now you want to have peace. I will not give you that peace. I will not give you. Because I will tell you that this country belongs to us. So ordinarily, the government is making him more popular. Because they are making him more popular. And that's one thing I want you to understand, that identically, we will tell you that it's only a coward that died 10 times before his time, but valiant men died but once. Showore is not afraid of being assassinated or being whatever, but his name will go down in history like great revolutionaries. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Che Guevara, and so many others. So it is better to let your name be written in the sand of history than all these bourgeois and capitalists, that are doing everything, that are putting that are making sure that they siphon, they corruptly enrich themselves. What are those things for? They are immaterial things. But when your name is written in the sand of history, children of history, students of history will come. They will still be mentioning your name. That is what a good ideological student want to die for, than going about material wealth, building 10 houses, having 10 cars, and all of that. But an ideological student will want to make sure that he comes to the world he comes, he wants to make a positive impact in the life of his people. And he may not be rich. Today, where are the Kensarowiwas? Today, they have been executed. Can, in the history of Nigeria, and the name of Kensarowiwa be ruled out? Who is talking about Abacha? Nobody is talking about Abacha. Yes, Kensarowiwa's name is more pronounced in the educational sector, in whatever sector of this economy. Just recently, Muhammadu Buhari died. Who is talking about him? Nobody. They have just been forgotten too soon. But a great revolutionary, a great activist, who want to die for his cause, for his conviction, for that belief, because conscience, they say, is an open wound that only truth can heal it. So most of the other people who want to die, who are amassing wealth for themselves, they are just for their children and all the rest of it. They are not. Eventually they will become unsung heroes. They will never get it right. So it is better to be on the path, to side on the part of the people, to side on to stay on the part of the people for justice, equity, and fair play. And even though you lose your life in line, because activists will always put a life in the line. So where have been putting his life in the line? Yes, I'm just telling you this. He has been putting his life in the line. But the government of this present administration will be making a very fatal mistake for anything to a young man. Because this generation, they are looking to him as one of the fiercest, the bravest young man in the history of activism and revolutionary change in this country. So we must call for change, and we need people like that. They must come. They must not shy away. You cannot buy everybody with money. If you're right today decided to be on, on the part of the government, if VDM decided to be on part of the government, they will give them a humongous amount of money to enrich themselves. But it is inborn. Activism is inborn. You don't learn it. You can go as a student to become, before you identify yourself that I want to join an ideological school or whatever, you would have been having that, instinct in you that this is where you belong. So no matter the amount, no matter the kind of compensation, or the kind of gift, monetarily or materially, they promise you will not want to collect it, because an activist, a genuine activist, is always contented with what he or she has. Contentment is the first thing for an activist to scale through. If you are contented, don't look at people having big houses, mansions, and everything. You will get there. But that's why your brother said, just be educated. When you are educated, you have everything. Education is the best, is the only primary objective, primary aim of an activist, not materialistic or materialistic wealth, so to say. But when you are educated, you have everything. An educated man is as rich and very, very, assuming in terms of ideological mentality and principle. When you are academically, you are full of intellectuals. Into high level of intellectuality will lead you aright, wherever you are going. So there's no way anybody can bamboozle you or want to mesmerize you against whatever wish or whatever decision you want to take. But if you are not educated, you are just it's just a no thing for you. So those two men, Sowore and VDS, they are championing a genuine cause in the history of our country, and we all must come and give them that support so that they will not fail. Because any democracy without a dissenting opinion or contrary opinion is nothing. We cannot, all of us cannot be caged. We cannot be caged.
Yes, I completely agree with you. Thank you so much for your analysis. Thank you so much. Thank you.
People who can use
well said. Thank you so much. My question to you, Mr. Matthew. While you were talking and giving your analysis of the story, you said something. You said we need more of activists in the society. So my question is, very quickly in 1 minute because our time is fast spent. My question is, what is the relevance of activists in the public relation matters in society currently?
Okay, one, it helps to check the authorities to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you find out that those who could not fight for their right, at the end of the day, have their right getting right. Because we can remember recently how Sowore came down to Lagos from Abuja to stand in for a core member who was having issues with the authorities. We can remember how Sowore stand in for some people in Delta State. So at the end of the day, you find out that those who could not get justice use that medium to get justice.
Yeah.
And in some cases, it puts government on check, because by the time they know that this person is already known globally, and that if you step in, it may embarrass the government. So the government know that definitely the person will step in, they want to do the right thing. Yeah. So ultimately, it works for the good of the society.
Okay, the good of society is the most important thing, and I think that's what activism is all about. Once you are working, you're making sure the people in Nigeria and even Nigeria gets better. I think I would call that activism. And like they said, two beautiful, amazing guests actually said that when you are doing your activism job, or taking Nigerians at heart, when you now start collecting money through the back door, or trying to do things in not facing the truth, not doing what you need to do rightly, then at that point you cannot be called an activist anymore. When they've called you behind closed doors and there is money involved and there's an appointment involved, then at that point, trust me, before you know, the cat is out of the bag, and Nigerians will know that you're not fighting for their rights, but you're fighting for your stomach. Anyways, I think this is where we just draw the curtain and end the program. Unfortunately, we could not pick calls or respond to any messages. But a lot of people are just trying to say that they believe religion, ethnicity is one of the major reasons why we have high level of corruption in Nigeria and high level of insecurity in Nigeria. Well, I think that's all we've said for today. Well, I'd like to say thank you so much. First, let me say, Comrade, thank you very much for being part of the show. Thank you for also, every of you. And of course, Comrade, you already heard Comrade. Is an activist. That is why he had to fire on like that.
Yeah.
And I could not stop him because this is what he does every single day of the year. Well, anyways, I also like to say thank you, Matthew, for being in the studio. And I do not know, are you an activist too?
Naturally, every human being.
Well, not like Shomore or very dark.
No, it depends on how you get involved and the situation around you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you become one. So I believe everyone is an activist. Gratitude, you're an activist.
Yes, I am. I am an activist.
I